it's just cool to see things unfold and stuff I was afraid to even talk about, even just like a recipe or a personal thing of information about myself. Once I opened up and told people, they were so much more open to it, whether it be a recipe or something I'm dealing with. I was always such a quiet person, and I still probably will always be. But I find that giving a little piece of myself, people are much more, I don't know, kind than I thought they'd be.
Yeah, that's encouraging to hear. Again, we squabble a lot in our community, and we can be quite harsh at times, which is tough. But by and large, I do find that people in this community are very accepting and happy. And maybe this is a perfect segue to talk about your recent journey into gaining more weight, gaining more muscle, what that's been like for you. We can go into whatever level of detail you want, but yeah, what has that journey been like, and how's it going?
Um, uh, well, I had a setback. I went on a trip, so I was invited to speak in Egypt and South Africa. Um, and it was about a month in between each one. So we were gone for about a month, and in between we went on safari, and I was bit 117 times by a poisonous spider or spiders. I don't know how many there were.
Wow.
So I got pretty sick, and I had to take. I mean, I was in Botswana. I was in the middle of nowhere, and they said you got to take these medications, and if you're not better in the morning, we have to airlift you out. I mean, poisonous spider is not something to mess with. Um, and when you're in a country where food is scarce, I don't want to take more food. And so I uh I lost a lot of progress. But I'm getting back there. Still not there. Um yeah, it's hard. It's harder than I thought it'd be.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you are making progress, and it's tough. When your husband encouraged you to, consume more carbohydrates, how challenging was that for you? I think all of us, I think, that are in this world develop a bit of body dysmorphia, and I can see that in myself, and like orthorexia, and like we become really terrified of carbohydrates. Was that a challenge for you to add back in?
Mhm. Um so when I got really sick in February, I ended up in the emergency room in the ICU 3 times. And when I got back from that, Craig said, "You are eating honey. I'll get you the best possible honey out there. I'm gonna get you some natural maple syrup, and you're gonna eat it or you're out." And so it was an ultimatum, but it was out of love. And as much as he wanted me to gain weight, it wasn't until, what, 5 months later, I was on a walk with my best friend, and I told her about what happened, um, and she stopped walking, and she said, "Do you wanna die?" And she said it again, and she just started crying, and she was so kind about how she said, "Do you remember when we would," 'cause how I met her, we were on a sailing team, and when you're on a sailing team, you want really lightweight people that are really strong, and she said, "'Member how strong you were?" And she was just really calm and soft, telling me, like, "You were so ripped, like, let's get back to that." And it wasn't until, like, as much as, I love my husband, all of his words, I wouldn't change for him,
I hear
and it
this story
really was.
I hear this story all the time, and I really feel for loved ones who are seeing what's going on and want to say something but don't know how. What do you think it was about her words, that conversation, that really reached you in a way that, yeah, like it's not like you were ignoring your husband and ignoring what he was saying, but it didn't connect in the same way for you. What do you think it was?
Hearing it from an outsider, whether it be about gaining or losing weight. I think hearing it from somebody other than family is very powerful because my parents too, they nag me all the time. Um, she's such a she's such a hippie. She doesn't do social media, and I've never seen her cry. And I think that was just like really whoa, you know. Um, and I once I started gaining, it was crazy how fast I could get back to weightlifting. Like I used to lift a lot, and I was think that was so mentally empowering to me that wanted me to keep going. Um, so when I came back after the trip to Africa, I was really sad about how weak I was. Um, yeah, there was a lot of things that happened. There was food poisoning. It was
Oh my goodness.
it was a crazy trip, but um, I am just trying to be more compassionate to myself.
Good. Yeah, thank you again for sharing all that. I know how difficult it is, and um, maybe I don't know how difficult it is. It's just I really appreciate your vulnerability there. When we talk about your journey into strength training, what kind of style of strength training tends to be the most beneficial, for you or somebody who's trying to, bulk up or gain weight, because it's kind of a fine line. Like you want to be able to exercise and lift and move, but you also probably don't want to be burning like an excess of calories when you're doing it. Like, how do you manage your strength training program?
Um, my background is, I mean, I love this class called Body Pump. Are you familiar with that?
I maybe I know the style. I don't. It's something that a lot of people talk about, but yeah, feel free to elaborate.
So, it was at the YMCA. They would play like a song for 5 minutes, and he would do bicep curls, right? And so, for me, I really like that style because it just kind of brought me back good memories. But I knew that I don't necessarily want to do endurance stuff, right? So, but I also don't have a lot of time. And so instead of just like sitting there and wasting time in between sets, I know this probably sounds stupid, but I set a timer. So, or I had a song on for 5 minutes, and I get 5 minutes to focus on biceps, but I lift as heavy as I can. And then once it's almost to failure, I take a rest, but I also know I only have 5 minutes to do it. So it, and women can do this more than men because they don't need as much time to recover. So I'm able to do that, but then I'm in and out of the gym and I switch off body parts. So I'll do like upper body one day, lower body the next day. And I know some people are like that's too much, but I got to tell you, I used to run twice a day. I was marathon running and I would do, I mean, 20 miles a day sometimes. And that was too much. I was tired. This doesn't wipe me out. It just kind of wakes me up. And if I'm not feeling it that day, I'll do something a little bit and I'll jump in the sauna. Um, and sauna was something that I was forbidden to do for a while. We have a sauna, and Craig took the power away from it for a long time because it was just making me sicker.
Gotcha. Well, the strength training protocol seems like it would suit your personality and give you the hit you're looking for, but also get you to that intensity that is needed to build muscle. That with the protein intake, it seems like a pretty good plan. So,
But
again, I really.
I
So go
wish
ahead.
I really realized when I was such a runner. I want people to know if you are a runner, you need more protein than your lean mass is saying because you're utilizing so much of that. And I know I lost a lot of muscle mass when I was running so much.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing all of that. We really, really appreciate it. I think it needs to be talked about more in the community because I think it's more pervasive than we know.